We are live 364 days a year. What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I've told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made with YouTube.
Oh, good.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan. Bryan Daniels. Better than Okada.
How do you not get 50 after Monday Night Raw?
Good evening from Swansea, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are watching Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, and we are just over 24 hours away from WWE Backlash 2025. And while the build for the card has maybe been a little bit mediocre, I believe it is going to deliver. Today, we are going to be running through the entirety of the card and giving our predictions for it. But of course, I need a great panel to do that with me. And let's kick things off with a Tuesday Night Delight on a Friday. How are you, Shad?
What's going on, Ben? It is good to be on the podcast today. I'm excited, man. Backlash is here. I also called it Trash Lash, so you'll get a little bit of a reason why I said that. But I'm always excited for some good wrestling. And of course, if y'all can't see the book over there, the GOAT, Becky Lynch is back, so I'm hyped for that.
Nice, and it will be a fun one, no doubt about it. But will Becky walk out the Intercontinental Champion? Well, we will be getting into that. Over in our live chat, Fernando says, Happy Friday, Wrestling Republic. Happy Friday to you as well, Fernando. And we have numero one Superfly saying, Happy Predictions Day. Happy Predictions Day to you as well. Also, we have somebody called Trevor White over on Instagram. Shout out to you. I hope you are having a great day. But also on our panel today, we have all the way from Philadelphia, Anthony Ricciardi. How are you, Ant?
I'm doing all right. It's been a little while since I've done a show with you two guys. And I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's a stacked wrestling weekend, Backlash, Maple Leaf Pro's doing something, New Japan, everyone, House of Glory, I think, is doing one. I mean, it's a lot of wrestling this weekend.
It absolutely is. And then in a couple of weeks' time, it's even busier again. It is crazy. Absolutely nuts. But I am excited for it. And let's get into this Intercontinental Championship match right out of the gates. Becky Lynch is back. But Lyra Valkyria was literally a double champion just a couple of weeks ago. But Shad, will she even have one belt after this pay-per-view on Saturday night?
Yeah, this has been a pretty well-built match. I have to give both women a lot of credit, especially Lyra Valkyria. I think you have seen her progress as a talker, rising to the occasion, going against one, if not the best women's talker of all time in Becky Lynch. She's opening to the challenge, and I love that they're playing off of the history against each other. This is one of those matches that feels very special. Mentor versus the mentee, as they call it. And it's probably the match I'm most excited for on the card. Give it up to the ladies. You know what I'm saying? The women this is the lone match on the card, but I think they will deliver, and I expect it to be a classic. I say that to say this, Ben. Lyra, I rock with you. You're my girl from the NXT days. It is time for the GOAT to continue to do GOAT things. And there's new hardware in the horizon. There's new blood in the ocean. Becky Lynch is a shark. She's going for it. She is going to be the Intercontinental Champion this week because It's best for business. All right, John Cena said it, but Becky Lynch will say it. So I got Becky new belts becoming the champion this weekend.
She needs to use that. That is brilliant. And I do agree with you that Becky is going to walk out of this storyline with the championship. But the question is, and Tombo69 over on Instagram says it, Becky needs more heat before she deserves the belt. Could potentially this actually be the start of the feud and Becky will win the belt at a later pay-per-view? Anthony, I want to get your prediction.
I don't think necessarily Becky needs more heat. She is the GOAT. I think there's a lot of history there, personal. This match means a lot to both women in this match. I definitely have Becky winning. If you're looking for more heat, my personal opinion is I would not be surprised if she plays the Medusa role in the new Dangerous Alliance. and gets with Paul. It would, and her husband Seth and Braun Breaker. It wouldn't shock me if she's the woman in that group.
I mean, on paper, I think it's a non-brainer to actually put her with Seth in that, because obviously, you know, they're husband and wife in real life, but also you saw that reaction, the reaction they posted on the WWE social media of her cheering when Seth turned heel, and she then turned heel, what, 48 hours later?
I mean, personally, for me, I would like to see the group with all gold, but you need a couple additional pieces. I think Becky would be perfect for the Medusa role, the Paul Heyman girl or woman, whatever you want to call it. And I think for Braun Breaker, you're either going to give him a secondary title, you're either going to give him the IC back, or you give him a tag partner to get the tag belt. And my personal opinion, Jeff Cobb would be perfect for that.
Would be also
And then
Omos.
Seth goes for the world title. So
I will say this, Anthony. I love that shout, but why? And I'm not saying Omos is like Jeff Cobb, because they're very, very different in ring. But when you already have a big guy who's young and you're not doing anything with him, why sign someone from elsewhere who's a lot older?
Well, honestly, Jeff Cobb has way more versatility than Omos offers. I think the problem with Omos in WWE was his overexposure. The reason Andre the Giant worked is because he was an attraction. He was unique, different spots that you would use him in. That's why he was so over in Japan. That's unique. It's different. You kind of need to know when to use him. It's why with Brock Lesnar, they bring him in, the prize fighter. They bring him in for like big events. That's almost kind of what you got to do with Omos, because if he's wrestling every week, it's not special. That's part of the appeal of Omos is the sheer size of him. Now, we saw that at 39 when we saw him in person going down the ramp.
Incredible. Massive.
You cannot really grasp that on TV, how big he really is, until you actually see him in person. And we weren't even, standing next to him. We were a distance, but it's impressive. But that's not relayed if he's on TV every week. It's not. And so I think that's part of the Omos problem is it was too much. There's only so much he could do, too. As a big guy, you can't be doing leapfrogs. You can't be doing that stuff. You're not.
You can be doing amazing karate kicks, which they just didn't do, though. And it annoyed me. He's brilliant at them.
But that's what I'm saying. There's limited on what he can really do. And if you see him all the time, it kind of eliminates the specialness of it.
I also think the fact that you have Braun Breaker in the faction as well kind of doesn't make me feel like you need two just monsters. I feel like another person who may be a little bit of if I'm comparing it to like the Hurt Syndicate for a second, right?
Mm-hmm.
To me, Lashley is like the Braun Breaker. MVP, I guess, would be the Heyman in this sense, and then Shelton would be what Seth is. So if you were to add one more person, say they add Cedric Alexander, right? Or even say they add MJF, I would add somebody to that element, a guy who could be a different counterpart stylistically to what Braun does. And even the idea of Jeff Cobb is intriguing, just the fact that it's a good way to debut him.
I think
get people to care about him.
I think that's also I think you nailed it, where you could get somebody different, but if you're going for a more, I don't know, Road Warriors-esque group, I think Jeff Cobb would work. Also, a tag team would protect him, as you're concerned about the age, but Jeff Cobb has really shown no age.
I have no issue with his age now. I think it is going to be whether or not it's worth building him in a faction of this magnitude, when I don't think they're going to get a return on their investment. But again, I think this will get back to the age discussion.
But not all investments have to be long-term investments. They could be short-term investments that pay off. And I
think very few short-term investments pay off in wrestling. Very, very few.
I think also it has to be someone that needs the faction to help kind of establish them a little bit and benefit them. I personally wouldn't have Becky in it, just because I feel like she's such a commodity amongst herself. She covers all the ground by herself. Braun makes sense because Braun, all due respect to him, he's not a great talker, right? He's a decent talker, but that's not his spiel. He's the silent assassin. He's the spectacle of just being an absolute beast. And that's kind of what we want. We've been comparing him to like a Brock Lesnar for some time now, and that's
Yeah.
why him and Heyman fits like
Next
a
big
glove.
thing,
Perfect.
yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect together.
but
We got a few comments that I do quickly want to read out because we got Lee Fenwick, shout out to you. We got Sean Ellis saying aloha and reckons Lyra will win to upset Becky's return. That would be a shocker. David Marge says Bron Breakker versus Brock Lesnar would be sweet one day. Bailey interferes and costs Becky, says Fernando. That is an interesting shout, which we haven't actually spoken about. But Roundhouse says, anyone else feel that Dom and Penta was weirdly added last minute as they took off Jay versus Logan? I mean, maybe, but I did think they were building it anyway on that one. DCX Warlord, give us Lyra and Nathan versus Seth and Becky. Random. It'll be banger, though.
why?
Be banger. I don't care. Banger.
This is the issue. Is like that's like a absurd wrestling like fan thing that we know that he's a student of Seth. Like it's not portrayed by him a lot. You know,
That's true.
To me, Nathan is Fraxium. He's the guy who is part of one of the best tag teams in the world. And I don't think breaking up Fraxium is more detrimental than to someone like Axiom than rather than like you can do that down the line, but they just got onto the main roster. They have like the world is their oyster now. They have so much to cover in that tag division that needs a lot of help.
It's kind of funny because we all expected Fraxian to break up, and then they would just have an unbelievable match of the year tag match, one after another, and then you're like, well, no, they can't break them up. But like we all expected it like several times. We're like, oh, this is all they're gonna break them up, and then they didn't.
Now, before we get to the next topic, the Bailey aspect of it is very intriguing. I just think that Bailey and Becky is the match that they want for this IC title rather than anything. But I want to.
You're thinking?
I think so.
SummerSlam match.
And hey, man, I said it first, Ben. I remember you made a reel about it. You know, all due respect to Dakota Kai, I think she's an incredible wrestler. But I know a lot of people were on the forefront of thinking that she should have won the IC title. I said that EO should have won the tournament because EO could have made the belt mean something out the gate. These mid-card titles don't mean a whole lot right now. All due to respect to the champions, all due to respect to Lyra. I think she's been phenomenal. I think she's really good, and I think she's going to be great. But the belt hasn't felt established. Even the U.S. belt, man. Y'all call me the Chelsea Green hater. I know. But she's a gimmicky character. Her title reign has been.
I think she elevated it. She just wasn't. I think compared to Lyra, she really did spotlight that belt. Okay, but I just think they screwed her over with
the champ right now ain't elevating nothing. She get crickets.
Well, I agree with you. Sorry, Jordy, and sorry, Zelina. I really like Zelina. I think she's tremendous. She should not have won that belt. I said that. No way in hell should that have happened because Chelsea was elevating it, doing something unique, building a brand and gimmick around it, making it relevant, and you take it off her. It was nonsensical to me. But before we move on, my prediction is also Becky Lynch. Kev, you guys waiting on that for a second, but let's face it, it was predictable. Up next, Dominic Mysterio and Penta. Anthony, I want to get your thoughts on this one. Could we see a new Intercontinental Champion?
Listen, I love Penta, and I definitely think he's going to get the belt at some point. I would be very surprised if they have Dom lose it just as quickly as he won it. You know, being in the stadium when he won, I know it came off on TV, but it really came off in the arena. People were really behind ex-con Dom being the champion. So I think they're going to keep it on him for at least a little while. I'm not sure how they'll do something with Penta, but somebody's going to cost Penta. So it won't be clean. Dom will retain, but it won't be clean.
Yeah, I think the comments are agreeing with you, and so am I. Fernando says the same thing. David Marge says the same thing. And Numero One literally says the same thing. He will retain thanks to some nonsensical interference from the Judgment Day. But Shad, do you agree with us on this one?
No, I do not agree with you guys. I got zero fear. I got Penta winning, man. I think it's time for you to really cash in on someone who could be the biggest star on the roster if you gave him the opportunity and the limelight to do it. I think the beauty of a Dominic Mysterio is that he doesn't need a belt. He can do whatever, and he's going to be good just because the character is so strong. To me, Dominic Mysterio and Chelsea Green are like mirror images from a man and a woman's side character-wise. They're so strong on the character aspect. I know you're looking at me like I'm crazy, but they're bulletproof on whatever they do.
I like it. I like that stuff.
So
what if? Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, but for someone like Penta, you have to cash in on how great of a single star he is before you add him back to the Lucha Brothers. And I know a lot of people want the Lucha Bros to reunite, but damn it, man, Penta as a singles guy has been so good. Him being the IC champ, just doing media circuits. We got the whole Triple A partnership now, potentially defending that on a Triple H show out in Mexico. I see the shelf life of it. I'm gonna go off on a limb and I'm gonna pick Penta, man.
What if they have him win it at Triple Mania in Mexico?
Oh, that'd be sick too, actually.
Or he defends it against the guy that
either way, I mean, anything's possible with this. I mean,
fun.
you have Worlds Collide, you have Triple Mania coming up. Yeah, I definitely think Penta's going to be on on the Triple Mania probably, or make some appearance maybe.
I do just want to circle back though to what you said about Chelsea Green and Dominic Mysterio, Shad, because you've given me a wicked idea, an awful idea, an idea which probably should never happen and would infuriate a lot of people, especially Matt Cardona. But what if they did an on-screen relationship between Dominic Mysterio and Chelsea Green at some point? That would be amazing TV.
That'd be crazy. No. That'd be crazy.
I'd like to see it.
That'd be crazy. You know, she mentioned that she wanted to be you know what's crazy? I saw an interview from her a while ago. She pitched the idea to be basically what Liv Morgan is with Dominic Mysterio as a romance character with Dominic Mysterio.
I mean,
they basically stole her idea.
I mean, let's be honest. Dom could literally go from Mamacita to Mamacita. I mean, that's the gimmick that he's working with, so he totally could.
For sure.
It's not out of the realm. He's on number 2 now.
Of course, this is a lot of it to his real father, Eddie Guerrero, that, should have won that custody match in DC.
Listen, I will say this every single time. How WWE did not have a ladder match with Rhea and Liv for the custody of Dom so that Michael Cole could say for the second time ever at a SummerSlam, the custody of Dom is up for grabs. How do you not do that?
They should have.
Oh my God. That's
the writing's
crazy.
There just for Michael Cole to say, like, I can't believe I'm saying this again.
Yeah, they should have, dude. I know it was a meme, but like, they should have banked on it for sure.
But I agree with D6 Waller. Probably El Grande Americano is going to cost him. Sean Ellis says it'll end in a count-out, potentially. Straight Up Wrestling is saying Penta's not going to win a singles championship. He won't win a title until his brother joins him. I don't know.
I don't agree
I think
with
it's
that.
possible he will. And I think it's possible. I predicted this. I think it's possible Penta is the next Intercontinental Champion. Not tomorrow, but eventually. But it's also the next Raw Tag Team Champions as well. I think him and Phoenix will do that. I think the New Day are going to have a very long reign.
I got to be honest. I honestly thought originally when the talk was of the Lucha Brothers wanting to come in, I kind of thought Motor City was going to be the jumpstart on SmackDown. And I thought the Lucha Brothers, what the plan was to put the Lucha Brothers on Raw to try to jumpstart the Raw tag titles. Obviously, that kind of got a little derailed, but at some point, there's going to be gold for both Lucha Brothers, both single and tag, probably in their WWE futures.
No doubt about it. Up next,
plus, I want them to be a tag team once the Usos are back, so we get that match too.
Oh, yes. Oh, we got to see that. We got to see that. But up next, Gunther versus Pat McAfee, a match which basically everybody, I think, is on the same page about. But the gist is, the real question is, should it be a squash match or should it be a long match? Shad, I want to get your take. And could you see an upset?
if Pat McAfee gets any offense on Gunther, this becomes the worst show in WWE history. Pat McAfee shouldn't even be able to lay a finger on Gunther. Pat McAfee doesn't need to be squashed. Pat McAfee needs to be exterminated. I want Gunther for 8 minutes and 55 seconds to beat Pat McAfee to a bloody pulp. I want him to cave his chest in where Gunther's like right hand is indented on there. I want him to knock out every single one of his teeth so he needs veneers. I want him to just, put him in a hold where he turns the color purple and looks like a Smurf. I want him to literally just put him in the Boston Crab and break off both of his legs. I want to have him in an arm bar so he can't, yeet anymore on that damn table. I want him to exterminate Pat McAfee because Pat McAfee does not deserve to be in this match. Pat McAfee does not deserve to grace the stage as the In General Gunther because Pat McAfee is a fraud. Pat McAfee is a visitor. He is a culture vulture in this sport. How am I supposed to root for a guy who doesn't even know what the hell is going on in the weekly shows? Do your homework, buddy. Okay? You got all this time to do all this NFL analysis and all of this stuff right there and, glaze Aaron Rodgers. Why don't you do your homework on what's going on the weekly television? Why can't you name one or two more moves that are happening in a match? I need Pat McAfee to be exterminated. Gunther in 5.
Wow. Big take, burning hot take there. I mean, personally, Shad, I'm going to disagree with you. I want Pat McAfee to get some offense in. I want to see a 15 to 20-minute classic. And I do agree that Gunther's going to win, and he's going to stomp the living head in of Pat McAfee. But I want to see it get a little bit of time.
It can get time where it's just a super long squash match. This is the thing. This is an opportunity for us to really get back that old Gunther feel. Because Gunther, to me, has become like this arrogant, pompous schnob dude these last couple title reigns. I need the killer back. Salute to the homie David Sheldon, because he also is a big Gunther fan, probably the biggest Gunther fan that I know, and he wants that back. I highly agree. This is the perfect opportunity to do it. Bystander. Destroy this bystander. He is a bystander. He's not a professional wrestler. He's not even really a commentator in my mind. He's just a celebrity.
I'm Team Pat McAfee when it comes to the commentary desk, right? Just within that commentary desk, not outside of the desk in the ring, just on the desk. I'm a fan of his. Fernando says this should be a squash. Numero 1 says Gunther will choke Mr. McAfee out to win. However, he expects a Goldberg appearance. That is interesting indeed. And Straight Up Wrestling 100% agrees with you, saying if Gunther doesn't destroy Pat, it is going to be a big mistake. Anthony, Gunther or McAfee?
I think ultimately it's going to be Gunther. I mean, obviously they're planning the right Pat off of TV for his other stuff. But I think going into it, I would have Gunther be arrogant, go ahead. Just like taunt McAfee and then Gunther snaps. That's what you need to do, and just have him just beat Pat down. He wins. He won't let the choke go. The refs are trying to pull him off. That would be the logical move if you're going to have Goldberg show up, because then you can kind of like he came in to save Pat and have the stare down. If you wanted to go that direction, if Gunther is still the guy for the supposed last match, it would make sense. But yeah, I mean, I can't imagine Pat winning. The only way Pat wins is if it's some fluke, and that is what causes Gunther to snap and just beats Pat down regardless and pulls the upset. But like, meanwhile, beats Pat down. Either way, Pat's getting beat down one way or another. But my prediction would be Gunther's winning.
I am inclined to agree with you.
Can I ask y'all a question though?
Go for it.
Besides, obviously, the little exchange between him and Goldberg that happened, right? Which was funny. Gunther made it funny. Why does he have to be the last match for Goldberg?
I prefer Braun Breaker.
I think Braun Breaker would make the most sense because Goldberg has strong ties to both Steiners, especially Rick. He's doing the spear. It would make sense if obviously Heyman's involved with Breaker. He has history of working with him with the Lesnar stuff. Goldberg trusts him. It would make a lot of sense. The Gunther aspect, I think it's because they know Gunther can get a good match out of him. If that's the final match.
That's a good point.
So I think either one of those two, I'd be completely fine with. And I go back and forth on which one I'd rather. But spear, the symbolic passing of the spear, for me, wins out of the two.
Especially if Braun Breaker in this calendar year could beat Roman Reigns and Goldberg, I feel like that just solidifies him as like
he is the next big thing. And honestly,
each
additional win that he does adds value to my mini title that I picked up at 40. So yeah, keep doing it.
Keep doing it, yeah.
Right, okay, guys. Don't tell Javon Evans, but I'm going to be bringing out my inner Tony Khan for this next segment because I have a major announcement to make. And that major announcement is we have a new YouTube channel. Subscribe to our new second channel, Wrestling Republic Undercard, for exclusive videos, clips, and more. There's going to be tons of content on there, clips from every single daily broadcast, other videos as well, sold separately, is going to be over there. Tons more videos in upcoming months as well. We're really going to be stacking this, and it's going to be a really, really great place to, keep up with everything here at Wrestling Republic. We did like keeping everything on the main channel, but the issue with the YouTube algorithm, it's an absolute headache, to be transparent. So please, please, please do us a solid and subscribe to our second channel, Wrestling Republic Undercard. It really does help us out. And also, genuinely, the quality of stuff over there is going to be really, really fun and entertaining as well. Talking about entertaining, something which I predict will not only be a banger of a bout, but will steal the show this Saturday night. The United States Championship 4-way, Jacob Fatu defending against LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. Anthony, could Jacob Fatu already be at risk of losing the title?
No chance. Make that simple. Jacob Fatu is the guy. When we talk about next big thing, I know we were just talking about Braun Breaker. Jacob Fatu is the other one. Jacob Fatu is the guy. You gotta have him have a dominant run with this, because right now, realistically, he's not touching the WWE Championship. Cena has the grip on that through the rest of the year until he finally loses it on his last match, probably. They could have him take the Raw one at some point if they move him, but I think for the time being, have him have a dominant reign as U.S. champion. Have him just destroy people. Have him be the bulldozer that we know he is. And the fact that he would be beating 3 former world champions, I guess, technically LA Knight held it in TNA, so it counts. He'll be beating 3 world champions. Jacob is a former MLW world champion. So it's an interesting statistic of how many world titles between these guys and how many successful reigns that they've had. And just, I think it's going to be a great match. It's always tricky with a 4-way, but I think these guys could make it work. And at the end of the day, it's Jacob.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be very fun. Roundhead says, I've seen a lot of controversy about who's going to get pinned. And in his opinion, it should be LA Knight. And I do agree. I don't want to see a stack pin. I think LA Knight, he's the only one really who, maybe Damian Priest, but it's got to be Knight or Priest.
If Drew wasn't in this, I could see a stack pin. The fact that Drew's in this leads me to think it's not a stack pin.
Yeah. Drew should never be at risk of being pinned in this, quite frankly. He should kick out of everything at 1, no sell everything, just be too good, and then Jacob Fatu cheats to win. I'm joking. But Numero 1 says the US Championship will seal the show. Maybe a match of the year contender. Shad, who is your pick?
Oh, it's definitely, without a doubt, my twin, Jacob Fatu. He's not losing it. And the reason why this match is happening is because they see this guy as the next big thing of their company. You don't pull a Drew McIntyre into a title match. You don't even pull a Damian Priest into a title match if you don't think it's going to help boost your already set champ and make him have one of the stronger U.S. title runs. I think for the WWE, maybe not off of the length and time-wise, but maybe off of the length and time-wise just because that title is held by kind of notable people. You need to let Jacob Fatu have a legendary reign. It needs to be similar to like Gunther's Intercontinental title reign. You need him to go through some of the best, and that means pulling guys into the mid-card title picture. So, pulling a McIntyre into it makes total sense. This guy has the ability to be someone that can get the title off of a John Cena, off of Jey Uso, like one of those two big belts. So position him for it, man. When it's his time, it'll be the perfect time for it. But yeah, I got him winning. And I think off of match quality, this should be the show stealer. All four guys, including LA Knight, Ben, are great workers in my mind. Okay.
I'm sure he's a great worker. He does all his tasks at the retirement home well.
I feel that like Jacob should have a long reign, but whoever beats him, that should make that person too. Like it can't just be, oh, Drew took the belt off of him. It's like, does Drew need the pad of stats? Like it needs to be somebody that it needs to make somebody too. Even if it's not clean, somebody needs to win it off of him and kind of build off of that.
Y'all know who it is, man. He's out there in NXT cooking with that NXT title. It's Oba.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Like that.
I mean, the thing is,
Clash of the Titans too.
Oba's got to win it in a triple threat to keep the legacy
but
alive.
The one thing I will say is it's either going to be Solo Sikoa beating him or Solo Sikoa is going to be the one to screw him in the match where he does lose the title. It's going to be one or the other. Solo's going to be involved.
I believe it's the screw. I don't see Solo.
That's what I hope. Yeah, I'm hoping for the screw. But Fernando
that should be the soundbite.
It's too soon to take the championship from Fatu. Agreed. Lee says Jacob Fatu will win, but I think he'll pull along Drew for matches further down the line. I'd like that as long as Drew wins. Straight Up Wrestling, shout out to you. Thank you so much for subscribing to Wrestling Republic Undercard. We really do appreciate it. And Carmelo Hayes is the Shout DCX Warlord says, same prediction I made in my predictions show for predictions for the next champions. And I got crucified for it. Absolutely crucified.
So the thing is this, I would love Carmelo Hayes to be the U.S. champion. I think it should happen. I think that's a great person to get the title off of him. I don't know what the WWE main roster vision is for him because I haven't seen him positioned in the same way he was positioned on NXT. And it's, to me, I don't know. I feel like they view him in the same boat as they look at like someone like how they had like Ricochet, like such a great worker.
Please no.
But the thing is, man, when you're such a good dance partner and you're a smaller guy, they look at you like the Maven. They view you like Maven. You're gonna make someone look really good, but you never gonna reach the top. Like you might get a couple mid-card titles in your picture, but we don't know if we see you as a main title kind of guy.
I reckon he'll win it because of Solo.
The Ziggler spot.
Oh, Ziggler's probably a better one. And that's crazy. There's a lot of guys like that. Shelton Benjamin is the same way too.
A good hand is the tagline. I could see Allison. I could see Alistair taking it from him at some point.
That's
Alistair's not a bad
option.
one. Just from the statistics standpoint, and I love the statistics stuff. If he's somehow able to win it while Zelina is still the U.S. champion, it would be the only married couple to simultaneously hold them, which would dethrone Chelsea and Cardona, who currently
Mixed
have the
tag
record.
match, WrestleMania 42. Right, up next, let's talk about it. The main event, the never seen 17, John Cena taking on Randy Orton for the last time ever. But unlike all their previous outings, this time, John Cena will be playing the heel while Randy Orton will be the babyface. A different dynamic and never seen before dynamic that we will never see again as well. Anthony, I'll chuck this one to you first out of the gate. Who do you think is going to be walking out with that WWE undisputed championship of the world?
Cena. Cena's holding this until his very last match. That's when he loses it to either Cody or somebody else with a pedigree, or he's making somebody. Cena's holding this. This farewell tour, regardless of whether Cena was going to be a heel or not, you needed to hit the iconic people. You needed to hit Orton. You're going to need to hit Punk. You're going to need to hit these people. You can't hit Edge. That's out of the that's one we can't get. But I think you're going to get a lot of the nostalgia, which I'm completely fine with. Doing it one last time, I have no issue with it whatsoever. You're going to get the newer guys. You're going to get that too. It's a different dynamic because obviously if Cena was a face, Jacob Fatu would have been a possibility. Now Jacob's a heel, so unless they make him a face to face Cena, you could do that. But I think this is going to be reminiscent and very classic to their previous encounters. Obviously, it's been many years since the last time they faced each other. But I'm actually looking forward to it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that Cena came in well after I was established as a fan. I was not a Cena guy during his height. I was an Orton guy. I liked Orton over Cena. But I'm very curious to see where this goes, and I'm interested to see this dynamic because, like you said, this has never been done before. We've never gotten heel Cena against anybody, really. Cody was the first one that we've really got a glimpse of it, and wasn't that great of a match. But I think this one will hold up. I think I have faith that these two can pull it out, even if there's a little smoke and mirrors with the age thing. But I think it'll be a solid match.
I definitely don't think it'll be anywhere near a classic in ring, but I just think from a nostalgia point of view, from a storyline point of view, it will be very, very fun. But Shad, what is your pick for this one?
Yeah, I do think this match is going to be a lot better than the Mania match. Also, I think chemistry is one thing that is just, impossible to lose. And, these guys are historic rivals for a reason. They came up together. They feuded throughout all these years. It's Goku and Vegeta-esque. Like, this is what is special about it. I think Randy is probably one of the most underappreciated workers of all time, to be honest with you. I feel like he has such a smart IQ in the ring. I think he knows exactly what he needs to do to get a great match out of Cena. I think they probably have had conversations of knowing what are the spots, what are the face-offs, what are the stuff that's really going to get the crowd engaged. I also think that they both work a relatively slower pace, and I think that's what's going to make it feel like an old-time match feel. And like y'all mentioned, man, the nostalgia act to it, just the nuance of that. We're getting this for the last time. This is something that I've been watching since I was a kid and a teenager to now as a grown man. It's a beautiful thing to see. So I'm glad that we're having it. It's in St. Louis. This is Randy Orton's hometown. You know what I'm saying? This is the Viper. This is a Mount Rushmore guy next to Cena when you do these debates. But it's the first stop on the Cena title tour. It's the first stop on the Cena heel turn tour. There might be some tricks in the bag. I don't know if he called his buddy from Hollywood to see if he put the Terramana down to help him out. I don't know if he got somebody in the back, but John Cena will find a way to win this match. Cena is going to come out and win this match. This is going to be John Cena getting another win, continuing the merit of this heel turn that he has, man. He's putting a lot of effort into it, and I don't see him losing to Randy. I would love it because Randy is one of my personal favorites of all time. But yeah, I got to go with Cena. I got him winning tomorrow.
Yeah, and I am going to agree with both of you guys as well. I do think Cena is retaining. No ways it can happen this early. We're going to see that all those dates counting down and down and down on that Titantron until it hits 1. And then, Anthony, I think you're right. The final show will be when he drops that title. I want to read out some comments real quick. Numero 1 says John Cena will retain, but there are 2 options I see. Either John Cena slaps a referee and considers it payback from 2008, or R-Truth interferes and becomes a servant to Cena until Cena gives him an AA. Shad does not like that.
No, man. No, I love R-Truth a lot. I love Ron Killings a lot. This iteration of R-Truth is just so much of a comedy act. I feel like it takes a lot away from what Cena's doing. It's cool if they have a little backstage segment, but like he's made for like the whole Judgment Day shtick, the stuff with the Miz. It don't need to get into this. This is a really well detailed and serious storyline. I don't need silliness to it. All right.
I agree with you, but I would prefer Truth over Travis Scott.
I don't want Travis Scott in it either.
No, I don't. But if I'm forced to choose between the two, I'll take John Cena's greatest childhood hero, or whatever.
Orton Ellis says the same.
No.
But yeah, I'm going to be honest. I'm not saying I want to see it, but I'd also be lying if I said I wouldn't be thoroughly entertained by seeing this really serious John Cena character with an R-Truth next to him. I think it would make this more entertaining. But again, I don't think from a story perspective if it is the right move.
What about someone like Karrion Kross?
For what?
I like him as a solo guy.
No,
Kross basically, he buys into this whole, Cena for the business shtick, and he takes him out.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I kind of like what Kross is doing right now. DCX is bringing it up as well. But DCX has a prediction. It's going to be John Cena Sr. I mean, at this point, can't rule anything out, can we?
Oh my God.
I mean, it could be Kim Kardashian at this point, honestly. We don't know who's going to come out and save him. Logan Paul is even possible. But that does bring us, guys, to the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our new channel, Wrestling Republic Undercard. Thank you to Anthony and Shad for joining me here today. We will be back same time, same place tomorrow to talk a little bit of the SmackDown. See you guys then. Have a fantastic day. In the words of DCX Warlord, peace.